Hello and good morning. My name is Marc Caron, and it's a great honor to be here as part of the PSSM Global 21-Day Meditation Challenge being aired on Facebook, YouTube with PMC Global and PSSM Global. I'm coming to you here from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. And just a little bit about me, I've been a coach, consultant, basically a seeker for a good part of my life, and it's brought me to, a number of great experiences that have really transformed and changed my life. And I'm here to share some of what I've learned and some meditation practices that help. Today, I'm really going to talk about depression, stress, and anxiety, because for the first part of what we want to talk about is mental health. And it's interesting because as a coach in my training in strategic intervention, I've learned a number of tools, techniques, strategies, and really belief systems that have really changed the way I look at mental health or mental illness or dis-ease. And one of the things that really caught my attention is I was in a leadership training program we were in. And one of the speakers was 𝗥𝗲𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗶, and I took the strategic intervention training that she offers. And she is one of the top clinical family therapists, psychotherapists in the U.S. and very probably the world today. And she has a very unique view on depression. And I think it's interesting because depression is something that is really rampant in today's society, and even now with the state of the world, what's going on, there's maybe an increase of depression. There's certainly an increase of mental dis-ease because we're living in a time of great uncertainty and great social change. So one of the things I wanted to share with you was, and this is stuff, if you watch my program, The Wake Up Call, where I talked about it early on, where everything in life is a pattern. And what we learn about depression is that there's a pattern, or any emotional state. So even if you're happy and excited, if you're elated, there's a pattern to how these emotions, these feelings get created in our body. And one of the most interesting things, and this is a foundation that I use in anything that I teach and I share when I'm working with anyone. And Tony Robbins, he calls it his triad. And there's basically three things that happen and that we can control within our lives that actually affect the way that we feel. And the very first thing is about our biochemistry and our physiology, how we use our body. The other is focus, what we focus on. And the other one is the story, language, and meaning that we give whatever our happiness or whatever what we're focusing on creates our state. Now, I'm going to back up a little bit before I go into these three elements of how we can create this change for ourselves. But I speak of depression because when I was asked to speak about mental health, it was the one thing that I've certainly got some experience in that. And within the mental health segment, my mother, she's a social worker for years and struggled with depression all of her life. And as I started learning and working and doing the things that I was doing to understand why we do what we do as human beings, it was very important for me to understand kind of what was going on. And we talk about the pattern of 𝗥𝗲𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗶, we talk about the pattern of depression or what we focus on, because there is always a way in which the way we use our body. So one question I would have for you is, do you know anyone who's ever been depressed, been on antidepressants, and is still depressed? So why doesn't that work long term? I know that antidepressants can work for short term for people, but generally in the long term, it doesn't work. And I've seen this with my mother for a number of years, and she did everything she could within the traditional, or I wouldn't even necessarily say traditional, but the past 50, 60 years, the treatments that they would have for depression. And what I found interesting is what worked for her and what didn't, and the differences. So let's talk about physiology, because one thing that I always noticed that worked is when my mother would change the way she took care of herself, the more active she was, the more she used her body, the more she ate better and took care of that part of her body. Because remember, when you take a pharmaceutical, it's affecting your biochemistry. It's making changes in your body. So when we eat different foods, when we use our body in different ways, it actually creates a biochemical change. Nature is, of course, one of the best medicines out there. It's the best pharmacy. I'm also a firm believer and supporter of actually not eating plant-based diet. And one of the reasons for me, there's a spiritual practice within that. There's a respect for life and not killing animals, for our sustenance, especially in today's world, but we don't really need to. And the other thing that I experienced when I made the transition for myself about 13 years ago was the amount of stress, anxiety, things that these animals felt would go into meat, right? They knew they were going to a slaughterhouse, so all of this angst, all of this energy would be actually walked into the flesh of these animals. So this is another one of the reasons why I chose to really become vegetarian, pretty much vegan. So I say that because it becomes our biochemistry. When I started plants, a vegetarian diet, not only did my body change, but my mind and my thinking changed. And I noticed this within my mother as well. When she started changing the way that she ate, the way that she used her body, things changed. So it's really important to be aware of how we use our body. Let's talk about the body style, or what it looks like when someone's depressed. Someone's depressed, quite often they're not breathing fully, they're breathing short and shallow because it's a stressful thing. They're not getting enough oxygen into their lungs, into their body. And, you'll find that they're slouched over, their facial expression may be a little worn, they're not like happy and joyful, they're a little out. So this is also part of our physiology, how we use our body. And one of the things I learned that made a lot of sense to me was, motion creates emotion. And if you want to feel a certain way, you just have to look at the pattern. Because remember, everything is a pattern of how we use our body. So if I want to feel excited and joyful, I would have to look at the pattern for me that is exciting and joyful. When I feel that way, how am I using my body? What's going on with it? Am I being animated, moving around a lot? Am I standing straight? How am I breathing? There's a pattern to that. So anytime you want to feel a certain way, you just have to look at your pattern of when you felt that way. And then in this way, we have an opportunity to make change in a heartbeat very, very quickly. And again, so we talk about physiology and how we use our body, or biochemistry. That's just one very, very simple tool that we can use anytime. First is always breath. It's one that we can't live with for the shortest amount of time. So it's really important to change the way that we breathe in our body. Some yogic breath, maybe cycle breathing, blow into our diaphragm and our abdomen so that we're filling our lungs from the bottom up, so that we can really oxygenate ourselves. And this is one way to help us feel better and not so depressed. And when you do that, you'll find that your physiology changes too. Your sternum will come out, your shoulders will come back. You'll actually be leading with your heart and not your head. Now, we talked about the second pillar, which would be focus. Whatever we focus on grows. It's wherever our energy goes, it expands. So quite often when people are depressed, we're focusing on all the things that are not good, all all the things that are bad. It might be anticipating worry and problems in the future. So we have an ability to control our mind, to control our focus, so that we're focusing on what's good. And again, remember, everything's a pattern. We become conditioned to a certain way. And anytime we meet our needs, we will continue to do the same thing. So when we look at our focus, are we always focusing on what's good? Or do we have a habit or a pattern of focusing on what's bad? And one thing I can tell you for the state of the world today, and it's just my observation, I could be statistically incorrect. However, if we take a look at a lot of the mass population, we focus on what's wrong in the world. We focus on what's not good. And we also focus on what could possibly go wrong, which is anticipation of the future, which really is worry. And one thing I think we all need to wake up to is our own conscious choice of what we're focusing on. There's a million things going on around us every single day at every single moment. What are we focusing on? Right now I'm focused on talking to you and sharing some tools and strategies and things that I've learned that is my intention that will change your life. That's my focus right here, right now, is that I'm here with you. And this is, a big part of being able to consciously control what we're focusing on. The next step, again, is our story or our language, and the meaning that we give anything that happens. So, and that's why I call it a happening. So something happens, it just happens. Now, the meaning we give it, the story that meaning creates, and the language and the words also create a big part of how we feel. So if we're looking at what's wrong, and all the things that are making us sad, then it changes our perspective, it changes our focus, it changes how we feel. And it'll also change the way we use our body. So again, remember that pattern. And the more we do something, it becomes conditioned and it becomes this habit. And we just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Because quite often things will meet our needs. We all have a need for certainty. We all have a need for variety and uncertainty because, variety is the spice of life. We have a need for significance, to know that we matter. We have a need for connection and love. We also have a need for growth and contribution. So even in depression, we're meeting these needs. I know I would watch it within my mother that whenever she wanted to create connection or anything of that nature, her depression was a tool for that, right? She would get connection with her friends. She would feel important. She'd get significance because she could call up, certain friends and they would always be there for her. They would always listen. They would always be connected. And she was certain that would always be. So she was kind of meeting her needs. And yet, unfortunately, the conversation, the focus of the conversation was never that of a positive nature or nature possibility or what's good. It was always about what's kind of wrong. So that always becomes a habit. And the most interesting thing that I learned, and this was something that, I started recognizing before I learned this philosophy in terms of what depression really is. Because I would see the times when my mother would all of a sudden, she'd forget she was depressed and she'd be out there helping people, serving the family needed help back in Ontario where we are from here in Canada. It's amazing how she would have energy and the ability to all of a sudden forget about her depression and go make a difference. And it was until I heard 𝗥𝗲𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗶 when she was speaking in some of our trainings where she was rash enough to say that in her experience and her belief that upwards of 95+% of clinically diagnosed depression was not really depression. And that really blew my mind because, depression is, like an epidemic that's been going on for years and is, really kind of new in our modern culture in the past probably 50 years or so. And we're seeing more and more and more of it. So what she would say is depression is really a lack of depression is really a lack of purpose. There's so many of us who wake up every single day and we're going to a job we don't like, it's not working for us. We might have relationship issues, family issues, things of that nature, and we're not getting up excited about our lives. I could imagine getting up every day and looking forward to going to a job that I don't really enjoy, or people I don't like to work with, or something because I had to do it because I needed to earn an income or to make my partner happy or whatever that might be. So it's really important to be excited about your life. And I ask you, what is it that makes you want to get up early and stay up late? If you've been feeling a little depressed or not energized, what is it that really lights your fire? What do you get up every day looking forward to? Today I got up looking forward to having this time with you guys so that we could have a conversation around depression and really take you through a few practices for some meditation that can actually help you get into your body, focus your mind, focus your thoughts, so that we can actually live a life by our design, by our choice, that we can actually be excited about. You might say, I'm not excited about anything, Marc, right now. Life is tough, we're out of work, the world is changing. Now remember, we go back to focus, language, meaning, story. I would ask you to focus on what's great about this. You might say, Marc, there's nothing great about this right now. Well, if there was something great about it, what could that be? What is it you can do in these times that you can feel nourished, that you can be excited about? Maybe it's writing that book, or connecting with some people you haven't connected with for a while. There's a lot of us out there who may literally be changing our careers in the way that we earn an income to raise and support our families because the world's changing, right? And that could be depressing for a lot of people. Again, if we were to take that opportunity and look at what's great about it, what's great about what's happening in your life right now? If you don't think anything's great, what could be great? Because remember, questions, the quality of your questions lead to great quality answers. And we have to be careful of the questions that we ask ourselves because the mind will answer. So let's ask ourselves positive quality questions that leave us touched, moved, and inspired so that we can create a better everyday life, not just for ourselves, but for all of those around us. Because this is where it all starts. It starts with us. And if our mental health is in a good place and we're cheery, and why not? The only thing that exists right now, right here, is this moment. It's being present. And when we can be present with each and every moment, with a sense of internal peace and calmness, life becomes a very, very different experience. And this becomes one of the things I believe is part of the practice as we go through life as well. We all have different emotions that carry us through our lives. But what I'd like everybody to do is have an opportunity to choose, consciously choose what it is you want to feel, what it is you want to do. Things that feel good, are good for you, are good for others, and serve the greater good. When we live a life of that nature and we're excited, depression, anxiety, stress disappear. And if you're feeling those things, the one thing that I would like to ask you to do is volunteer, contribute, give something back beyond yourself to help society, help those less fortunate. If we're here watching this, it means you've got an internet, you've got a computer, you've got a phone, and that we've got, the opportunity that many others in the world don't have. So that being said, I want you to sit with that. Remember, depression really, for many of us, just a lack of purpose because we got caught up in that hamster wheel, doing what we thought we should do, conditioned by the Western world, and we've lost sight of who we are, what we're here for, what our purpose is. So if there's anything that you can take from this conversation is, what's your purpose? Do you know your purpose? If not, let's find it. life, I can tell you, will never be the same again. The purpose-driven life. So now what we're going to do, I want to take you through some about a 20-minute meditation, and we're going to start with going through our body, and these are tools that you can use in meditations that you can use to help alleviate depression, anxiety, and stress. And because physiology is first, let's get into our body. So what we're going to do is a brief body scan. And this is helpful, again, like I was saying, for anxiety, depression, insomnia, and pain. The body scan is a mindfulness practice that will allow you some time to be in your body fully and to get to know how it's feeling right now with your attention and awareness. It offers a time to learn to effectively sit with body sensations like discomfort and tension. The focus of this practice is not to try to change anything about our experience. Remember, there is no right way to feel in the moment. The key to this practice is actually to simply notice and accept whatever is present in the current moment. As we go through this practice, I'm going to guide you to focus on various areas of the body, noticing whatever arises. If you realize you can become distracted or your mind wanders off, simply tune back into the sound of my voice and pick up with the practice. You can begin this practice by finding a comfortable position, either sitting or lying down. You might find that if you lie down while doing this practice, that you become tired and sleep. The goal of this practice is to stay present and awake in your experience. So if you do find that you become drowsy, it might be best to find a comfortable sitting position. But what's most important is that you feel comfortable. So take a moment and find a comfortable position and allow your body to come to stillness. When you're ready, gently close your eyes, take a moment, feel your body as a whole. Bring attention to the fact that you're breathing in this body. Allow yourself to experience your breath in and out. Not trying to change or deepen it in any way, simply noticing. Try following the full cycle of your breath. The in-breath, the out-breath. Relax into this natural rhythm and flow of your breath, and allow it to bring you more deeply into this moment. On your next out-breath, I'd like you to direct your attention and the breath down through your body, through your left leg to the toes of your left foot, simply noticing any sensations that might arise. Noticing the space between your toes. Noticing any feelings of tension or tingling. Perhaps noticing the temperature. Expand your awareness through your foot and to your ankle. Noticing the point of contact at the bottom of your foot. The surface and the structure of your foot and ankle. Now rest your complete attention on your lower leg. Again, simply becoming aware of all sensations. Just noticing. No need to change anything about what you experience. And now, through your knee and the underside of your knee, expand your attention to include your thigh and up through your hip. Again, noticing any sensations, perhaps tingling, achiness, tension. Perhaps you're noticing a sensation of relaxation. Whatever sensation you experience in this moment, attend deeply to it and simply allow it to be. And now, breathe into the toes of your right foot. Again, allowing your attention to rest lightly. Simply noticing the point of contact. Perhaps the muscles, the tendons. Bring your attention to your right shin and calf, the whole lower leg, up through your right knee, the right thigh, and up through your hip. Perhaps noticing any or tension, tingling, paying attention to the temperature. As you attend deeply to your body, you may notice sensations that feel strong or uncomfortable. Allow yourself to be with this experience and to breathe into the feeling of discomfort. Simply noticing and allowing whatever you experience in this moment. Notice through your waist and your abdomen any tension or holding. Simply bringing your awareness to this area. Now, move up your body. Focus on your lower back, noticing the position of your spine, the muscles along your spine, noting the sensation of your rib cage as it rises and falls as you breathe. Now, bring your attention to your chest. Are you aware of the sensation of your lungs expanding and contracting? Or perhaps you can feel or hear even the beating of your heart. Your heart is a beautiful, most powerful organ in the body in so many ways. It's the first thing that's formed as we're growing in our mother's womb. And it never takes a break, pumping blood for our whole life. Feel your heart. Focus your attention on your collarbones, your shoulders. Continue down your right arm through the elbow, the wrist, your fingertips. Focus and feel the spaces between your fingers. Now, come to the left side of your body, from your shoulder down through your left arm, elbow, wrist, fingertips. Bring attention and awareness to that space again between your sensation or sensations you may be experiencing in this very moment. As we move up the body, let's focus your attention on your neck, your jaw, your face, and the crown of your head. It takes less muscles to smile than it does to frown. Are you smiling right now? Take this moment now to feel the body as a whole, from the crown of your head down to the tips of your toes, scanning your body for any sensation that might pull your attention, and open up to that sensation. And now, as you sit with the experience of your body as a whole, bring your attention to your breathing. Simply noticing your breathing body, awake, tuned in, relaxing into this rhythm and flow of your breath, as it allows you to sit deeply in this moment. Now, take a moment to acknowledge the time you spent intentionally nourishing your body with attention and with breath by simply resting in this awareness. Congratulate yourself for the energy and the effort it took to stay aware and form an intention to continue to practice this in your everyday life, and wish that the benefits of this practice can flow into your experience of everyday life. Now, take a deep breath and hold it for 5 seconds. Exhale and relax. Take another deep breath, as deep as you can, and hold it. Count for 5 seconds. And as you exhale, just imagine blowing out all of your stress, all your anxiety, all the negative feelings and emotions. Just blow it all out. Now take another deep breath and hold it. As you exhale, you blow out any stress again, any anxiety, any depression, anything that's been holding you back, anything you've been holding on to, and say to yourself, relax now. This is one of your new solutions to stress, anxiety, depression. It will calm your body, calm your mind, calm your spirit. Whenever you feel stressed or anxious or depressed in the future, simply take 3 full deep breaths, holding at the top of the inhalation for 5 seconds. When you exhale, blow it all out. Anything that you feel that's not serving you, release it. And on the third breath, you don't have to stop at 3. You can take as many breaths as you desire. But as you exhale, simply say to yourself, relax now. You can say to yourself, from now on, I choose to be relaxed. Remember, consciousness is awareness, and we have the ability to choose how we wish to feel, what we want at any given time. You can say, I choose to be calm. Feel the calmness in your body. Feel the relaxed state of your body and your mind and your spirit as you breathe deeply and slowly. Say to yourself, I choose to be in control of all I do because my health is very important. Remember, it is a natural state for you, me, and everyone to be healthy and happy. It is unnatural for you to have sickness and misery. That's dis-ease. That's disease. And remember, that's unnatural. Because remember, it is natural for you, me, and everyone to be healthy and happy. It is unnatural for you to have sickness and misery. Now, hear yourself saying, each day, in every way, I get better and better. Each day, in every way, I get better and better. In order to make change, I challenge myself. Change is not comfortable. In fact, it is inconvenient. So if I feel comfortable with the change I am making, I am probably not extending myself enough. Most change comes at a time when we are uncomfortable. And by pushing through the discomfort is when growth and transformation happens. In order to make change, remember, you must always challenge yourself and push through the comfort zone. When I have a negative thought, acknowledge that you feel this way and then simply release it. When another negative thought arises, catch it quickly and say with confidence, I acknowledge that part of me feels this way, but this thought does not help me right now. Each day, in every way, I get better and better. Whenever I am presented with feelings of stress, I know my breath is there to soothe me and guide me into relaxation. Every single day, become more aware of all the good things going on in your community and in the world around you. When you feel that darkness is surrounding you, I know that the way to see the light is to take 3 deep breaths, and you don't have to stop at 3. Take as many as you like. Relaxing my mind and my body by doing so. Say to yourself, each day, in every way, I get better and better. Each day, in every way, I get better and better. You can also say, each day, in every way, I get healthier and healthier. Each day, in every way, I get happier and happier. From now on, just challenge every single negative, unproductive thought that arises and let it go. Remember to breathe, because this is the way you change your life for the better. When you're ready, take some deep breaths, relax, come back to yourself. Wow, I know I'm feeling pretty good after that. I've lost track of time myself. It's amazing. Thank you for joining me in this 21-day challenge. We'll talk about mental health and depression. I hope you were able to hear me. I saw some comments about the mic. It was as close as it could possibly be. Everything was turned up, so I was hoping you were able to follow everyone. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you put them in the comments here, either down below you on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you may be watching. And I just want everyone to remember, if you're not excited about your life today, what could you be excited about? Because a big part of life is really living a purpose-driven life. And it doesn't necessarily have to be grand and building everything, crazy like we do in the West, about achievement and accumulation. However, it's really about, for me, my purpose is to serve others and really to be an inspiration for the life of contribution. Find your purpose. I'd be curious, anybody who may be tuned in right now, if you want to throw in the comments, what is your purpose? You have the purpose of your life, do you know what that is? I'd be happy to hear it and see what the purpose of your life is. Because again, I'm Marc. See, hear, feel, and know that the purpose of my life is to be an inspiration to others while living a life of growth and contribution and enjoying the process and having fun doing it. So that's my purpose. And I encourage you all to find your purpose and to really pay attention and be aware of how you're using your body. How are you eating? How are you moving? Are you drinking enough water? Are you breathing, deep, diaphragmatic, in a way that we're super oxygenating our blood and our body? What are you focusing on? Are we focusing on what's good? Are we focusing on the opportunities? Are we focusing on how we can make a difference in the world? Are we focusing on how we can make things better? And then lastly, are you sharing and are you telling a story that is inspiring, touching, and moving, and leave people, somewhat excited. What kind of language are you using in your life? Using a language of, possibility, or are you using a language of restriction? Because remember, there's never lack of resources in the world for anything. It's our resourcefulness that's really important. The language, meaning the story that we tell ourselves, really creates our reality and how we feel. And let's make sure we use our body. Exercise, yoga. I like to be a little expressive. I talk a lot with my hands, facial expressions. That's all part of how I use my body. And this is how I personally avoid things such as depression or anything of that nature that may come my way. It's really about focusing on my physiology, how I'm using my body, what I'm focusing on, the language, meaning the story that I'm using to tell and speak in this situation. I thank you all for joining in, everyone. It's been a great pleasure and honor to be part of the PSSM Global community, the PMC Global community as well. And I look forward to the next episode coming this week of Your Wake Up Call with me, Marc Caron. If you ever want to reach out, if you have any questions, I'm always available and would be happy to answer any questions and share anything that may possibly make a difference in your life. So I thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in and joining. Hope you got some value out of our little talk on mental health and depression and how we can make change, and that you enjoyed our mindfulness meditations of getting to our breath and our body. Until next time,